Well, welcome, sisters. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome. I am Nicole Burgess. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm also an empowerment mentor to the introverted, highly sensitive, and high achieving women. I specialize in overcoming anxiety, demoting your inner critic, and breaking free from the perfectionist thief. Today, not only am I recording my podcast in typical ways that I do for Soul-Filled Sisterhood, I'm also doing a video as well. And if you want to see the video on YouTube, go over to the show notes, which is under NicoleBurgessCoaching.com/parenting. And then you can watch the video as well from there. I've got some kind of notes in front of me just so I can kind of stay on track. So if you see me kind of looking down in the video, that is what I'm doing. So as an MFT, as a marriage and family therapist, I've worked with families for over 15 years, and I've seen and heard a lot of different things over the years. And I know right now we are in very uncharted territories. I've been telling people this week, it's like we are actually at war with something that's invisible versus our other wars that we've had with one another and all of that. And it's caused a lot of stress, worry, concerns, grief for not only the parents, but also their kids. So I wanted to do just a quick little episode today in helping support you ladies, you moms, whether you're with somebody, you're single, whatever, give you some support to navigate this time. And I really want to remind every single one of you listening that we know from history, when we work together, we get through things. So I want to remind you, you're not alone, that there are so many incredible people out there right now supporting one another, from my colleagues to, family, friends, to neighbors. When we reach out for help, when we ask for help, or when we give help to others, as humans, we come closer together, and it's like putting all differences aside, which hopefully we're doing that anyways on a daily basis. But this is now the time to really be able to do that. It's not succumbing to the fears. It's coming from a place of we can do this together and with love, compassion, and kindness with one another. Okay, so let me start off by first saying, I know, at least here in the US, I think the majority of schools, if not all of them now, are out, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school. And some of them are planning to go back like at the beginning of May. Some of them are out until the next school year. I know for the majority of colleges, they're out until the next school year. Some schools have their online system set up where they actually have live classrooms, which is beautiful. Some, it's more like the kids have to get up and just log in and start to do their work. Well, what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing from social media, what I've been hearing from colleagues and friends, some of this is causing a lot of stress for parents because some of you I know are trying to work from home as well, and everybody is home. And that's causing some frustrations and overwhelm. So first, if you're able to, can you carve out a room within your home to give you some space and almost like your own little personal structure of like, this is me going into the office? Is there a way for you to set up your kids' room or a space for them that they can set and do their schoolwork? I think the other thing to really remember is let go of trying to do it all, and definitely release trying to do things perfectly and in a very coherent, way, like this is how it's all going to work out. You just kind of go with the flow and do whatever you can. For some kids, for especially the younger ones, they thrive in structure. And so if you can create a space for them to do the work, or you can create space, kind of time zones for when they're doing their homework, when you're working, this and that, it really helps them feel calm, helps them feel like there's some predictability in their world. I know as adults, that's really important, which I'll come back to that. It's also remembering if your kids don't do the schoolwork, they're not going to be harmed by that. Their brain is not going to become mush because they're not doing their math, their language arts, their reading, their whatever. If you've got little ones, especially if you're still reading to them at night, if you're watching something educational, if you are letting them like kind of search around for something that they're really curious about, maybe they want to learn about volcanoes right now, whoop-de-doo, let them, because that's still letting them get engaged, but it's not putting so much pressure on yourself or them that you've got to be the teacher. So many of you I know are so frustrated because you're like, I don't know how to teach them. I don't know how to do this stuff. So let go of some of those goals. It's okay. It really, truly is. When things get back to a new normal, school systems, teachers are going to understand that they may need to go back and review a lot of material or do things differently, because that's just where we are right now in the world. If you have a child who is an adolescent, who's in middle school, high school, and they're more self-directed, they're more like, I'm going to go just do this thing because that helps me feel like my world is somewhat calm and predictable, then let them do their schoolwork. It's also letting go of they need to get up at, the crack of dawn to get to school. Some of them I know have a specific time, like their online school starts. So again, let them sleep it a little bit, but making sure that they're getting up at the time they need to do the schoolwork. Others of them, they have a total flexible schedule. And again, it's kind of creating these chunks of time during the day. Like maybe they're up by 10 o'clock of the day if they're a high school or adolescent. And then they work until 3 or they work until 2 or something with the lunch break in between. If their school starts at 8 o'clock, again, they're getting up at whatever time and being able to do the schoolwork. But those chunks of time are important, not just for them, but also for you. So for example, I've told clients this week, and I think I said it on the last bonus episode, like create like 3 or 4 different chunks throughout the day. So you may have like the morning zone, and maybe that starts at 7 and goes to 11. I don't know, make the time that works for you. And then the next time zone is from like 11 until about 2. The next time zone, maybe it's from 2 to 6, and then it's 6 to 10. Whatever it is, pick 1 to 2 things within those time zones, and that's your activity. So maybe it's the morning. It's like, I actually get up, I still do my morning routine, I still exercise, I'm doing yoga, I'm doing gentle stretching, I'm doing walking, I'm lifting weights, whatever I need to do, so that one, I get any stress that's in my body or sadness that's in my body, I can also have a space to release it. Then the next part of it is, okay, now I'm working on my job, or my kids are doing their schoolwork for however long, with mini breaks, little small breaks in between the different subjects or what they're doing. The next part of the time, maybe it's, okay, now we're going to do a family activity together, whatever. Give yourself some grace in how your day looks. Truly, it's new, it's different for everybody, and you're trying to figure it all out. There's no perfection whatsoever in this. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes, because I think I also mentioned this in the last bonus, but I used to do a podcast called Launching Your Daughter, and it was specifically for parents of adolescent girls and caregivers of adolescent girls. One of the episodes I did, though, talked about family meetings, and that's a big thing that I have been talking with various families over these last few weeks. You may need to start one or revisit it if you're not consistently doing it, because the household chores are changing. There's more dirty dishes, there's more meal planning, all these things. And I know tensions are high and frustrations with kids are high because they're not liking the shift and the change. And yet it's also reality. You as a parent cannot do it all. You can't do it on your own. And it's also some life skills that you're teaching them too. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 on some levels. One huge thing I really want to encourage you to do as parents is truly ask your child if they need a hug. I'm going to, I think, do another episode supporting your teenager through these times of grief, because literally their world has turned upside down, and I get it. But I know for most adolescents, like littler kids, they typically like, I need a hug, I'm feeling really sad, and they may be open to it. Adolescents are a little bit different. They often will hold back from asking or say, I'm good, I'm good. And yet they really do need it because they're scared or they're feeling really sad. So make sure you're asking your child if they want a hug. If they say no, please respect it. Otherwise, you can also say, well, I need a hug. Are you open to giving me a hug? It's not about forcing contact. It's not about forcing them to do something they don't want to do. But we know as human beings, we need the physical contact. And because we're doing the separation and some of you are in truly lockdown mode for where you're living right now and what your ordinances are, that you're not able to hang out with your friends or other family members to get the hugs that you typically do. So if you're open to doing that within your family, I would encourage that. Ask or allow your child to feel the feelings that are going on for them. Just as you, as an adult, I've said before, it's like your feelings are your feelings, your emotions are your emotions. They're not right or wrong. They're not good or bad. They are just what they are. And when we allow ourselves to feel them and talk about it, we can move through them. It's the same thing for your kiddos. Ask them how they're feeling right now. Ask them what they're thinking about right now. And listen, it's not about fixing what is going on for them. You have the ability, as you're listening to them, reflect it back to them, reflect what it is you're hearing from them, and then ask if they are open, or ask them first how you can best support them and see what they say. If they're like, I don't know, I don't need anything, then you can ask them, it's like, are you open to hearing some feedback from me? Like what I may do if I were in your shoes. And that may be from friend support to working through something with a teacher online, a class online, struggles they're having with the homework. Ask them if they're open to that feedback. If they're not, say, okay, just I want to remind you that I'm here for you if you need anything from me. There you go. That's it. And I know I'm looking at my little thing here. Like I said before, create structure. Make sure, I know there's jokes in so many of the social media groups that I'm in with other therapists and colleagues and even coaches. There's a joke about when you do online stuff that, typically you're wearing your PJs on, the bottom half or whatever. I don't. I actually put on clothes. But that's me. That was something I was taught in grad school, is make sure you change your clothes. When you change your clothes, you get into a whole different mindset. And that means like, I'm in work mode. This is what I'm doing. I'm in school mode. Now, if you're totally fine and you can do what you need to do with wearing your PJs, fine and dandy. You've got to do what works for you. But just as I was saying before, when you're chunking down those different parts of the day, that creates a semblance of structure, and it creates a semblance of, there's some predictability or somewhat of a routine that can happen. It does not mean you can't be flexible or you can't shift things up. You absolutely can. This is just one way of helping you and your kids and your family feel like, okay, we can do this, because you can. It's one day at a time. Honestly, sometimes I was talking with some colleagues just the other day, sometimes it's in those chunks of time when you're staying very present, you're like, I can do this, versus, oh my gosh, we've got to do this for another 3 or 4 weeks. Oh my gosh, I can't. Because again, that's way far in the future. And I've said so many times that throughout these episodes, anxiety is all about the future, what may or may not happen. And the reality is, if we're living so far in the future, it's an illusion. We don't have control over the future. What we do have control over is ourselves and how we either respond or react to things. So keep coming back to the present moment, because that's the only thing you have. Okay. The other thing I say over and over again is make sure you, especially as the woman who is parenting or taking care of somebody or supporting others, make sure you are doing self-care for you. And if a bubble bath is your thing, do the bubble bath. But I know for many of my clients, that's not. Self-care looks like the journaling. It looks like going outside and taking a walk. If you are in a space right now where you're not allowed to leave your house, you're not allowed to actually go outside, if you can, open windows, feel the breeze, feel the sunshine, feel the air, smell the air, look outside. We know nature is very calming. Nature is very supportive. Do those sort of things. Meditate. Again, I keep going back to my mindfulness practice, and I say that over and over with people that I work with. Mindfulness is huge. It helps keep you centered. It keeps you grounded, helps keep you in the moment. Because again, this is the only thing that you have, is this moment. Be present. Also, part of that, when you're practicing self-care, you're helping minimize your own fear and anxiety. And if you're in the place of where fear is running you, versus what I like to say, your soul is leading you, but when fear is running you, you don't see opportunities and options and choices. What it is I like to say you do this inverse funnel where you're going down to a very narrow part of the funnel, and all you're seeing is problems. You're not seeing solutions. When you come back to the moment, and when you're coming from an elevated space of emotions, meaning love, joy, gratitude, appreciation, when you're elevating those emotions, you're able to go to the top part of the funnel, and you're able to see opportunities, solutions, and other things. You're also seeing them in the front part of your brain, which is where the coping skills are at, where you're able to rationalize, you're able to think things through, versus the back part of your brain, which is the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And that's where everything gets very narrow, and you're just like, you're on high alert all the time. Okay, let's see, what else do I have for you? Oh, like I said, make sure you take small breaks from one another. I know it can feel like you are on top of one another if there's more than one or two of you in your home. So take little breaks, like going to separate rooms. Again, if you can go outside, please go outside. Just keep your distance from folks. I've seen various videos through different cities and different countries where, in Italy, they were singing to one another, serenading one another through the windows. They had open windows and they were doing it through the courtyard. Seen another video just recently, I think it was in New Jersey, where some guy was in his car talking through the window, and other peoples were in their apartment complexes opening the window, and they were having conversations, so they were staying connected. So it's time to get creative. If you live in a neighborhood, maybe it's going outside. If you're seeing your neighbors, wave, say hi from a distance. Make sure you are actually exercising, stretching, listening to soothing music. There are some great, I love our local community. They're doing like the yoga centers. They're now shifting it to online classes so you can do it again, especially for highly sensitives. Getting out of your head and staying into your body is vitally important. And that goes for anybody, whether you're highly sensitive or not. Stress is held in our body. And when we stretch, when we exercise, it helps release that from your cells. It helps release what you're holding in there. So if you typically like hold it up in your shoulders or in your neck, and this is kind of what you do throughout the day, it's like just noticing and dropping your shoulders back. It's noticing that, okay, I can take a stretch. I can move my head from side to side. All of those little things really help get you grounded, stay connected. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What else do I have here? Oh, so I'm going to release this. This is on a Saturday that it's being released. Next Tuesday, which is March 31st of 2020, I'm actually holding just an online little meditation slash prayer kind of group for ladies. It's about 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is it's a Zoom session, but you have to sign up for it. The link is in the show notes if you want to participate in it. It's 11 a.m. Eastern time. You get to come. I don't have the videos turned on because I know some of you don't want to be seen, which is totally fine. You're just wanting to show up. You want a space to be held. This is an opportunity for you to do it. I just did one a couple days ago and had a few people show up, which was so lovely. So I'm just trying to do what I can to help remind you to stay in the moment, that together we are going to get through this. And as I said, I think I'm going to do another episode and just really how you can support your teenager through all the losses that are going on right now for them, and helping them navigate not only their emotions, but yeah, all the experiences that they're having. Again, I don't focus so much on parenting on Soul-Filled Sisterhood, but I also know that there are so many of you that have families or in families, and you've got things going on and you're unsure yourself of how to navigate that. So I'm going to do my best and get that done maybe next week. I've got another episode already planned. It was, I recorded it a while back. It's already scheduled to go out. So I'll probably do another bonus episode, and then I'm going to go from there. So hope this was helpful. I want to help inspire you, keep the hope up, and that together we really will get through this. And until next time, take care and stay safe and be well.